The comic book, though, was radically different than what the film turned out to be.
Well, the comic book initially was a concept I had years before I started the comic itself. The comic was very dark, a lot of humor.
And it was edgy and a kind of extreme, cool style to it that I thought was really attractive. But it was quite frightening. The character would put the mask on and chop people up and then have a joke or two. And there's a large body count.
It was vindication. It was revenge. There was that "screw you, boss, I'm coming back at you" attitude that the mask had. But of course, we were familiar with that and had embraced it with Freddy Krueger.
Mike DeLuca fell in love with it. He was the guy who really pushed this project forward.
They were primarily interested in making a horror film with probably a sense of humor to it.
They wanted to be true to the comic, and the original comic was very much in line with what New Line had made in the past.
Come to Freddy.
They really were looking for a fresh Elm Street series, basically. I was literally thinking about looking into the rights very shortly myself, and I got a call from New Line.
Well, I always thought Chuck would be a great director for this project. He also done one of our most successful Nightmare on Elm Streets that Chuck and Frank Darabont had written the script for, and then Chuck directed.
Have a seat.
Ultimately, it was more successful financially than the first two put together. So there was a trust that was developed between Bob Shea and myself, and that I'd taken his prized franchise and given it a new life.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV.
Chuck had the right sensibility for Mask because he understood effects at that point. He had a strong base in horror, which is where this project started out.
And I think the first more horrific script let them down a little bit.
There were several different writers and several different drafts, but none of them really caught that synthesis of playful nastiness and comeuppance, so to speak.
Originally, when I looked at the material, I really kept getting stuck because as they were horrific, that this was such a fun idea that a really scary take on the mask seemed to be a letdown to me. And I slowly realized that this would be a much better comedy and a very explosive comedy.
And he had a very exciting take, I thought.
Get right up here! Don't be shy!
It's rare in Hollywood that a studio really lets you turn an idea around and do something as original as The Mask. But they let me run with it.
Sorry, wrong pocket.
Chuck was the visionary for this film. And the more we talked, the more we realized how much in sync we were on this.
You know, I really knew what I wanted to do, and I realized a lot of it was influenced by Tex Avery.
He's known for being, I guess, the strangest animator who achieved popularity.